Mach 3 RC, and we got a new Raptor, baby. I am so stoked. If you guys have been following the channel for a minute, you know the 64mm Raptor is really what got my channel going. I think it's still the cover photo of my channel. I absolutely love that jet. And Freewing just released the 70mm that I picked up from Motion, and it looks really nice. We got retracts and rudder. Let's go, huge upgrade. But the biggest thing was I was ready to get the 90mm F-22 Raptor, but then they announced the F-16. I went with the F-16. Then they released this, and I feel like it's in such a good price point. The 70mm is a great size, fits in the vehicle good, easy to get to the field and whatnot. So let's see how easy it is to assemble. It would mean the world to me if you guys subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. Stare into this. Oh! All right, I haven't been in the RC hobby long, but I get so happy because I feel like every plane that I unbox is just less and less pieces every single time, and that's really exciting to see. And it looks like assembly is gonna be a cakewalk on this, but hopefully I don't eat my words. Let's knock out the first part. Step one is gonna be flipping it over and installing our horizontal stabs, the full stabs. When all the screws come the same size, that's awesome. Now I've had some planes where this is a little tricky. This one's easy. Slide the stab so it's touching the plane, and then put in your one screw. Tighten it down, don't like overkill it. All you gotta do is tighten it until it starts to feel a bit snug and it's pretty well flush, and you can stop. Moving right along, we have our quick connect wings. I'm a big fan of these. We do have a cable though, so pull that out of its little slot and then plug it in, slide the wing in, and then make sure you have both of the button locks up. I didn't, I had to back it out, then push it back in, no problem. And then the buttons snap in, it's very satisfying, and I couldn't believe how well it held the wings in. You got a little spar that you slide in and line up. These couldn't be easier to install. Flipping it back over, you're gonna notice a trend here. Get yourself a stand if you don't have one. Makes it way easier. We're gonna get into our vertical stabilizers. These are real easy, so you're gonna connect your rudder wire, tuck it in so it doesn't get pinched. Do that on both sides. It has a little slot to tuck the wires in. And then you're gonna have two screws on the bottom. I thought I'd be big brain and flip it over, but that turned out to be small brain. What are you gonna do? So I had one that stayed in. You're gonna put those two screws in. You could probably do this from the underside, which would be a little easier, but I like making things difficult for myself, so I did it this way. Screw both those in, make sure they're snug. Again, this is a foam aircraft with plastic. You don't need to kill it, just tighten it slightly. Which leads to the best part of the install, the nose cone. Except this didn't have like a super satisfying click, but it's plastic and looks good. Before we install our push rods, we're gonna wanna install our receiver and make sure our servos are zeroed out. I went with the Spectrum AR8 360T Plus. This plane does require 7 channels if you wanna utilize everything like the flaps and reverse thrust. So I went with an 8 channel. Now the thing here is I did have to move this black box. I didn't get a shot of it because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do this. I couldn't figure out how to fit my receiver in there flat, so we moved that black box up and made it vertical. I just applied new adhesive and then put my receiver where that black box was. All right, for this part, you're just gonna measure 6mm down. It's honestly probably easier if you have the wings off. Just above this like seam that's on here, just above it. So I'm just putting a little black mark. Then I know where to line up the tip of my elevator when we connect our connecting rods. This works just like any other plane. We're gonna put it in the second hole here per the manual. You can adjust that if you like. I just followed the manual's instructions. It did have quite a few twists I had to do to get this one lined up with the black dot that we put on there. And then, believe it or not, we're gonna hop on over to the other side and do the exact same thing. All right, now that we got her all tuned up and dialed in, let's get a control surface check and landing gear check going. Ooh, it comes out pretty quick. I love the doors. Those look sweet. The landing gear doesn't look super robust, but that's to be expected from a 70 millimeter. As long as it holds up better than my F-16 does, I will be happy. I do like the suspension on it. Feels pretty solid. Let's put her back in one. Door is a little bit slow. Takes her time. Not too bad. Let's take her here. And her flaps. Nice. Got takeoff flaps and landing flaps. I tried to go by the book. We'll see how she does, and we'll have to probably tune her a little bit, I'm sure. But looks pretty good to me. I'm stoked to have flaps and rudder. Dual rudders. That's really exciting. That's really cool. Then we got throttle. Oh, yeah. But then reverse thrust, too. Always nice to have, because sometimes if you're doing these on pavement, they like to roll out. I'm stoked with this. Well, there she blows. That was one of the easiest plane installs I've ever done. I think the hardest part was deciding where I was going to put the receiver with that box in there, and that wasn't even that bad. I think this even went together easier than the whole 64 millimeter that's seen some stuff. But comparing them, this 70 millimeter is beautiful, and I think it's exactly what I'd want. I think the only thing missing is maybe some lights. That would be sweet. I did have to go in and do a sub trim on the flaps to get them level, but they're nice and level now. So that was really easy. I'm gonna set up my safe and AS3X on it because I like having an oh crap switch. So if you guys enjoyed this and you liked watching, it helped you out, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. That helps me out a ton. And we'll see you on the Maiden.